Hello everyone, Argsy here. Welcome back to the Canadian Cattle Farmer here on Chilliwack, British Columbia. Now if you caught the last episode, you would have seen things were cut a little bit shorter than we expected by some unexpected rain. Well, I'm sure if I'd checked the forecast it would have been raining, but we have moved forward time. We actually only had to go forward about an hour and a half to get past that wet weather and be into some finer drying days. So, which is good because it did mean we were going to have to wait for our alfalfa hay, which we mowed last time, to get down there and ted that and get it windrowed up and made into some hay. So while we're waiting for that to warm up and the weather to improve just a little bit, we've jumped here into the truck and we're heading down to give some of the animals some TMR. These ones down here were the ones we looked at right at the end of the episode, and they were completely out of food. Now it's actually interesting to see how quickly they start to lose their condition and health without having any food. It really is pretty important to keep them fully fed and always having something in their feed bowl. So we are coming down and going to give them some TMR. We've got 52,000 litres in here. Of course these pens actually only take 60,000, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Good thing that it only takes really a truckload to fill them up. Bad thing is you have to fill them up quite a lot. You can't just stockpile them with food and hope that it's going to last quite a while. We do have to go around and feed all the other animals as well, the other three cow pastures. But we actually need to buy a little bit more silage and grass before that. Now I'm just actually, while I'm doing that, I'm looking at this grass area and thinking we could actually come down here and mow this, because this looks pretty well grown, and get this turned into some silage. And we might actually do that. That might be something we do, because we are going to be getting out very soon with the baler and everything like that. So why can we not feed that here? Here we are. Weren't quite in the right spot for the trigger. There we go, getting some food into that pen. But like I was saying, we could come down and actually mow this grass. If we could get a dozen silage bales off this area, that could actually be a big help for us. So we might try and give that a go. We're just going to get these ones here fed, and then we'll head back to the yard, back to the farm, and get things all set up for what we're going to do today. The other thing we were also going to do, we're going to go and take out a little bit more of a loan to be able to buy a milk trailer, be able to collect some of the milk and go and sell that, which is something we might do before we get into tedding the grass and tedding the hay, because we can let it dry out for just a little bit longer, and we know we've got enough milk to fill up one of those tankers. But anyhow, let's carry on. We'll get the food here to the cows and we'll head on back down to the yard. So a lot of cows fed. I'm been a little bit annoyed with myself that I didn't think we could have gone down and mowed that grass a little bit sooner. That would have really saved us a lot of blushes. Now we've just got one of the animal feed mixers coming back from over the other side of the farm. We'll just let them come in here. Can't remember where the auto drive course is, so we'll stay out of their way and not try and go out there at the same time. They were parked up over on the other side of the map and had a little bit of food in there, so we've just let them finish off and get back here now. But we do need some more grass silage before we can do any more feeding, so we'll head on down here. We'll go and get this mowed. Like I said, if we can get half a dozen or a dozen bales off there, that will be enough for a few feed mixes. Now I have re-evaluated my feed mixture ratios as well. I was putting 2 grass bales into each of the just turn our flashes on there, give that guy some warning, into each mixture, but we only need 10% grass or grass silage in each mix, so we can actually substitute the second bale with a alfalfa hay bale or a hay bale that we've got in the other shed, which we weren't using up until now. So the more I've delved into it, the more I've understood that where you've got a minimum, you make sure you put the minimum in, but if your maximum for anything else is very high, even if its minimum is 0, you can still use that to pad out the mixture rather than using some of the more valuable assets that you might have. So something to bear in mind if you're ever doing Maize Plus. Anyhow, let's go on down and we'll go and get this grass mowed. Alright, so we're down here. I've set this up to be just base game. It should come out as just some nice fresh green grass, and these are actually nice straight swaths, so I reckon we don't even need to bother windrowing this. I don't think there's been much benefit running over the field twice just to make some nicer windrows. I reckon we can mow this, then come straight back down here with the baler and get it all picked up and turned into some silage bales. Now we do have to wait 48 hours for the grass to ferment. That is the only downside to this, so I think we are going to have to unfortunately go and buy a few more bales just to make sure we've got enough to feed the animals. But anyhow, let's just race through this field, get it done, get back and grab the baler and come down and get it baled up, and by then hopefully the alfalfa would have dried back out and we can get over and ted that and make a start on baling that as well. Alright, there we go, all done. Didn't take too long at all. Don't know what's going on, we always get cars that pause up there and watch us. Every time, without fail, they'll come along, stop just there and see what's going on. Just see the train going past there, a little bit we missed. I'm just going to make sure we get that, whether we pick it up with the baler or not, I don't know. But there we are, turn that off, pick up the head and just wait and see if this car's going to go past, because we're going to struggle to get past there. There you go. Got a couple more coming along there with the railway crossing having just gone up, but we'll pull out here in front, turn our hazards on. There we go. This is the one actually, I thought there was one behind it, but no, no more. Right, let's head on back down to the yard. Honking at me. Arrogance of them all. Let's head on back down to the yard. We're going to pull out the baler. We'll grab hold of the Kubota, I think actually. Double check that it's got the horsepower requirements. It's been a wee while since we baled. But if we can do that, we'll use the Kubota, bring that down here and get started on baling and wrapping those up. All hooked up to the baler. Now of course we could pull it, 168 horsepower tractor, 158 horsepower requirement there for the baler, so no dramas whatsoever. We do have a little bit, it looks like, of hay in the back of the baler. Now I'm hoping that when we pick up grass that might convert that to grass and that will make everything carry on as silage. Otherwise our first bale out is going to be a hay bale. The other thing I'm going to be mindful of is how big we make these bales. I don't want to make them too big, and I can't remember if we can change the size on this baler or not. But what I want to try and aim for is any bales should be about 10% of the capacity of the mixers. Now the big mixers have a 26,000 litre capacity, so if we do 3,500 litre bales, which I think are the smallest, while it means more handling in fields and things like that, it means we know that we've got 10% capacity in each of those bales. So we put one bale in, it's going to put 10% into the mixer. So that is the plan anyhow. So let's carry on down here. Well, we're just about there, so we'll keep going. And we'll get everything unfolded and see how we go with getting some bales done. Be intrigued exactly how many we're going to get. I reckon a dozen isn't out of the question here. Maybe 10. Double figures at least. I'm hoping for double figures. So let's go. We'll pull this in, turn things on, unwrap, unfold. Everything's moving as it should. And there you go, the symbol changed to the wet grass, which is good. It does mean the first bale that's going to come out, which is 3,000 litres. So again, sits nicely in that 10%. This is going to be a grass bale, so let's see how we go here with getting these all done and wrapped. Going well so far, and we should, hopefully, drop it off before we get the next one finished. Oh, it's going to be close. Just. Of course it goes into the pre-chamber, doesn't it? So we can have a little bit more of an overlap there than you think. So this is going to go pretty well, I think. I think we're going to do pretty decently. Let's wait and see anyhow. Won't jump the gun too much, but let's carry on, crack into it, and just get through this and get it all done. Well, I've ended up with more than I expected, and we're only a few hundred litres, well, 83 litres short of having a full bale here, so I'm just going to race around and pick up a few little scraps I didn't bother doing before, because we might just about be able to get an extra bale out of it. But we will check the tally and see how many bales we've made this session. I hadn't actually reset the bale counter, so that's not going to work, but there is a lot more than I expected. Probably didn't factor in the fact we were only making 3,000 litre bales though, so if you're making something a bit bigger like we'd normally make, it would be obviously a few less, but even still, looking at the total number of litres we're going to have got, it's not going to be a bad little effort. Alright, I'm hoping there's 10 litres sitting here on the ground. Let's wait and see. Oh, there's only 6, we still need 4 more. What about down on this little stack here? There we go, perfect. Alright, we'll turn that off, lift up the pickup, and that will wrap the last of the bales. Now what we're going to actually do is we do have the auto-load trailer, but to avoid being seen as being all completely cheaty, we will go around and stack all these up in one spot in the edge of the field, so that when we come down with the auto-load trailer, we do just pick them up from one spot. So we're just going to disconnect the wrapper there, or the baler, and we're going to race around, get these all brought up to the front, probably be the best spot, and then we'll have them all in one spot to be picked up with the trailer. Last bale here, 23 total, so that gives us 3,000 litres each, about 69,000 litres. So that's a good amount of silage once it's all fermented, at least to tide us over for the next wee while until we can get that big grass field done. But it does make you wonder, how much grass are we going to get off that big grass field, which has actually been sown and fertilised and limed and given the best chance to get a decent yield. It could be quite impressive. But there we are, we're going to head on back over to the yard now. It's not quite warm enough or dry enough yet to go over to the alfalfa. What we're actually going to do, we're going to go and jump into the semi. We're going to head on down and buy a tanker so that we can come and pick up some of this milk and get that delivered to a sell point and start to get some income off that. And then we do need to go and buy some more silage bales, so we'll go and do that at the same time, or around about the same time. And then we should be looking pretty good to go down and get that alfalfa hay done. So we've got the baler back at the yard. We've come and grabbed the semi here, and we're going to head on down to the shop and go and purchase our trailer. Now, I think I showed you last, or a couple of episodes ago now, which trailer we were going to get. It is the 82 Studios tanker. I think that was the best bang for buck versus volume versus cost and everything like that. So we will go and get that and bring it down to, well, I think it's this animal pen here, this cattle barn here, and the one we were just down at, which have the Holsteins in, which are the two which are producing milk already. It does look like that is the Holsteins there out in the field. So certainly come back down and go and get some of that milk picked up. I'm looking forward to actually starting to profiteer off these girls. They've certainly chewed through a lot of food and a lot of our time, so it'll be good to start to make some money off them. So here it is, the TLX 48-foot tanker trailer. Now we've got this all set up with our configurations. We've left it as standard. We're not going for unrealistic, which takes it up to 250,000 litres. We're going to stick at the 67,240. Otherwise, you can see through there, nothing else really special. We've got the illumination there, and we've gone for the fresh milk sign on the side and back. We've even got the number plate there, Argsy milk. Added a liftable axle on the front, and fenders on the rear wheels as well, and otherwise just customise it to match the colour of the trucks here with the blue on the chassis and everything else done. So that has a total price of $25,270. We've got $16,000, so we're going to go and borrow another 10 grand, come back and buy this, and then we'll be all good to go and sell some milk. Alright, and there it is. We'll get backed up here with the semi, we'll get hooked up and head on down and try and get some milk loaded in. I'm looking forward, like I said before, quite excited finally being able to earn some money off the cows and get some milk sold. Now, I'm going to turn the lights on because look at all that illumination on there. That looks pretty sweet. Right, let's head on down. It's going to be a bit of a challenge manoeuvring around in some of those areas, I think. We'll see how we go, but we'll go see and do what we can do. So here we are at the first of the barns. Now, I think the trigger at the front there is for the slurry, so I expect we're going to have to take the trailer around the back. I know we've obviously got the trigger for the animals, but I wonder if over there under the other sign and then the other door might be a trigger for the milk. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and back up to that. Hopefully this trailer and truck is going to work with getting some access in there and getting some milk loaded in. So let's go and see. Now I know we can open the hatches there. We'll keep backing up, backing up, backing up. And I'm hoping somewhere about there we're going to get a milk trigger. There we go, look at that. We're filling up with milk. This is going to be pretty promising. Now, let's go and have a look and see where we're going to go and sell this. We've got two options there for milk. We've got Costco and Chilliwack Dairy, and at the moment, Costco are paying $11 per 1,000 litres more, so we'll certainly be taking it there and earning that little bit extra. And we've got the Costco just over there, which isn't too far away for us to go. So we'll go and get loaded up. Of course, we do have to come all the way down the bottom here to field 203 and get the rest of the milk, but hey, I'm not going to complain. 39,000 litres pretty much, so we're not even going to be able to fill the, get all the milk. We're going to have a full trailer before we get the milk emptied out of the other barn. So let's head on down there and get the trailer here topped up. And here we are down here getting the milk from this other dairy, and we'll be full in no time, ready to head off to Costco. Now, what are we going to have? 67,000 litres they're paying $7,000 or so per 1,000 litres, so I can't even do the maths for that, but it's going to be a pretty decent little income for our first load of milk. And if we are going to be starting to turn this over every single day, then I am going to be very, very happy. Right, let's head on down to Costco and go and get this sold. Well, here we are down at Costco. Now we'll go and find where the sell point is. One thing I've learned very quickly with this truck having 67,000 litres of milk on behind it, brake early. It doesn't like stopping. So there you go, lesson learnt for us. We'll make sure we apply the anchors a little bit earlier in the future. Now I think the sell point's just around the back of the building, so if we head on down this little alleyway here, past the front entrance, down the side, there should be a trigger here we can back in over. I think you can just see it there. Yes, there it is. So I'm hoping if we get backed in there to the loading dock, we can pump the milk direct in. Now I'm not sure if they'd exactly be buying bulk milk like this, but that is the way things are set up here, so we're just going to make the most of it. Here we are, manoeuvre that in there, already getting the trigger. Let's get back to right in properly though, and see how much money we're going to make. I am beyond excited for this. Let's go. Oh, look at that, $51,461 worth of milk. That is incredible. I am over the moon with that. That is going to really turn our fortunes around now. It's what we've been aiming for, getting this dairy farm up to a point, or this cattle farm up to the point where we can actually make some money off the animals. We've put the hard works in and now we're starting to see some of the reward for it, which is awesome. So now that we've got that done, we've obviously still got some more milk we could sell, but we don't need to at the moment. We're going to head on back to the farm and we're going to go pick up the bale trailer. We do still need to get the cows fed, and we're going to do that. But what we might do as well, we might actually send a worker over, take the tedder over and put them on auto drive and head them on over to the other field to make a start on getting that field tedded as well. Or maybe not make a start, but at least be ready to do it now. We take that road? No, we don't. It's the next one down. We made it back to the yard. We've got the bale trailer here, and we're going to head down to the shop and pick up a few more silage bales, enough to tide us over till the ones we've made today are ready. We've got a worker there in the Kubota. They are going to head down to the alfalfa field with the tedder, and they're not going to make a start. They're just repositioning the tractor for me. We'll head down there, and then we'll get another worker to follow over with the windrower, and then we'll be able to make a start on getting that field all done and ready to hopefully get it all baled up today. So we'll see how we go. Time's flying by actually, but this has been a very rewarding episode already. So let's go and get some more silage bales. So down here we've got 18 more bales, and I've specifically limited myself to 18 because I think that is going to be the sweet spot for us to have enough to cover the next feed mix, but before we need to or able to use our own bales. So I didn't want to buy too many. It was $30,000 on its own, so we've blown through another big chunk of that $52,000 we just earned, and I do still need to repay the $10,000 loan that we took for the trailer, which will take us down to 12. So we'll need to get some more milk sold or some income somewhere else very, very soon. Now you can just see up ahead of us we've got the Kubota heading on down to go and start doing the tedding, so that is good to see that they are doing their job. Of course I have just taken the one tractor we have which has a bale grab on it away for mixing any feed up for the animals, but that's alright, they should be okay until that tractor's back and able to help out with that job. So we'll head on back down, and we're going to head on over with the tedder, make that start there, and we're going to take the John Deere over with the windrower as well. Well, there we go, we've got the bales unloaded there. They'll be out of the way for now. I've just left the truck parked there because we're going to need that to go over and pick up the other ones out of the field. We head back down this way. We'll grab the John Deere here because that is what we're going to take over to do our windrowing. We'll get this all started up, turned on, and get the feed mixer taken off the back of this. It's actually worked out really well having this running as a feed mixer as well. It takes longer to get around, but because we've got the auto drive all set up properly now, it's really helpful to have this going off, and it can top up after the truck's been through, or we can send this down and it can do 2 trips to the same pen while the truck goes and does the other. So it does sort of make the feed process a whole lot quicker, because there still is quite a bit of manual involvement here with loading and everything like that. It's not completely automated. Some people have suggested why don't I use a TMR mixer or something like that, which if we had a silo of TMR we could pull out of it. I'm trying to keep it a little bit more authentic. If we did that we could have gone for a big trailer or something like that and just run the TMR down without having to use a feed mixer at all. So we are trying to keep a little bit of authenticity there with the feed mixing, and I'm enjoying it actually. It's been fun and rewarding to get that auto drive course all set up properly. Now what would be equally rewarding would be backing up properly to get hooked up here to the windrower. There we are, that's done. So we're going to put this on auto drive. We're going to jump over to the Kubota and go make a start on the tedding. So, moment of truth now here with the alfalfa. We mowed it into a semi-dry state. We're now going to see if we put this down and lower it, if we're going to get a change in colour. Look at that, it's changing to a nice, vibrant, light colour of alfalfa hay, which is exactly what I was hoping it was going to. That's perfect, that's exactly what we wanted. Looking like we're going to get our alfalfa hay working here, no worries. So let's just carry on here with this. We'll hopefully get most of this field done before the windrower gets over there. Then we can do a bit of a switcheroo with the worker, send the other worker back with this tractor over to pick up the baler, and we can carry on with windrowing and then come back and do the baling. So this should all work out really, really well with a little bit of help from auto drive. So we'll just crack into this and we'll get the field all ready for that windrower. So windrowing all done, tedding all done, and we've got this all set up here, ready now to be baled into some alfalfa hay. So I'm just going to check, have a look at our bale size that we have set at the moment. In fact, I can't even see it because of all the other information that is on there. And it doesn't matter because this baler only does one size, 125 centimeters. So there's no changing it anyhow, which I do seem to recall us going through that all once before. So let's get it turned on, pick up lower down, and let's make a start here on getting these alfalfa bales done. And I think we might finish off the episode the way we started it, with the time lapse of some baling. So this is all going perfect. Looks like we're getting some nice dry alfalfa, which will mean it is alfalfa hay coming out the other end once it's all picked up and wrapped up. Not going to have a guess on the number of bales, although the way it's going, I reckon we might get less bales off this per hectare or by weight than anything else. But these are 4,500 litres, so I'm guessing because they're hay they do fit a little bit more in it than silage does at 125 centimetres, which makes sense. So let's jump into that little time lapse. We'll get this all baled up and we'll get to the end, see what we're left with. And there we go, this is the last pass on the alfalfa, and I think I did do a quick tally up, but we will look because I've got the bale counter reset. I did manage to do that this time. And we've done 25 bales plus the almost bale that's in the baler here, so that's not bad. That'll go a decent way, 4,500 litres each, so somewhere between 80 and 100,000 litres or so of alfalfa hay, which is good, be good to have. Now we're going to go around and pick all these up, get them stacked up, ready to come down and pick them up with the truck, but I'm going to save you watching me do that, and we'll just get that done off camera and have it all tidied up, because when we get back for the next episode I want to be forward into the month of May, so we will have skipped forward and I want to get these off the fields and brought down to the yard. So as always, hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.